Please be advised that everything in my video is purely for entertainment purposes. These are purely my thoughts and opinions and are subjective. I must advise you to please do your own research. All media users found on the public domain and are fair use and fair dealings.
Hey guys, hope you're doing all right. Sorry, I was supposed to do this video yesterday. I just got caught up in stuff. You know, it's life, it's busy. My husband's home at the weekend and we just got caught up taking a dog out and visiting people and stuff. So I do apologise. But anyway, hello, happy Sunday. So this video is called Please Stop, okay? And the reason being for that is we thought that the Commonwealth Service, that was going to be the final goodbye, wasn't it? That was it. That's why, you know, so much coverage. Meghan's every step was recorded. That was their last official thing that we were going to see of them. And then we thought that she'd be getting on the next plane to Canada, obviously to be reunited with her son. And as it turns out, that's not quite what happened. After the Commonwealth Service, Catherine hosted a glittering reception at Buckingham Palace. It was for one of her patronages called Place to Be. And she, you know, as soon as these pictures got released of her looking absolutely gorgeous in this blue embellished gown, you know, the media was all reporting on Catherine. She was there seen talking to choirs that were performing that evening. It started drip, 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 drip. First started with the cost of her final green outfit, okay? Then it started with talking about Meghan's wardrobe, extensive 40k wardrobe over the last 3 days that she was here. Then it gets even better. They then started releasing stories saying that basically it was the ultimate in revenge dressing. Revenge dressing. They made comparisons to Diana's famous sort of like dress that she wore. Well, Diana's situation was the fact that her and Charles had basically separated. They were divorcing. That is a revenge dress, isn't it? When you see your ex or something and you're looking absolutely amazing, or you want them to look at you and go, damn, I really messed up there. That's revenge dressing. The scene in Pretty Woman, which we all know and love, when she goes back into that snobby store of those women that refuse to serve her and she's with her bags going, big mistake, huge. That is a moment of like, yes, yes, ultimate revenge dressing. Meghan, revenge dressing. I don't think there's going to be many people, members of the British public, taxpayers, anyone really, that's going to be going, oh yeah, look what she's just worn. She's worn hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of clothes. She never wears anything twice. She's wearing hundreds of thousands of pounds of new jewels. No doubt Charles has had to pick up the tab for that because it was deemed as working royal engagements. And yeah, we're all suddenly supposed to feel sad that she's leaving. That might be pushed in American media, and it might be pushed by her sycophantic sort of fan base and, you know, Omid Scobie and stuff going, what have the royal family lost? Look what we have lost. What have we lost? Someone that has increased the security bill for Scotland Yard to the point that they've admitted that they can't cope. We have had them stirring the pot of politics. We have had racial tensions being stirred up, because obviously if you say anything about Meghan, you're naturally racist. We have had nothing but drama, really malicious stories spread about other members of the royal family. Catherine has been attacked mercilessly by some of Meghan's friends like Lainey Gossip and stuff. Rumours have started about William having affairs. It has been an absolutely nasty rumour mill that has been churned out since Meghan joined the royal family. Then you have the victimisation, the bullying stories, the trolling stories, whilst they were living a life of absolute luxury. 82 engagements she did. She's been married into the family for 21 months, has bitched and moaned her way through it. And then obviously with the famous documentary with the backdrop of South Africa, despite spending all those days with all of those girls and people in real poverty that were a real risk, they chose that to moan about how hard they've got it in life, how hard their lot is. Sorry, forgive me, but I'm not getting out a violin anytime soon. Then, as I predicted, Daniel Martin, or as I refer to, the crying makeup artist, of course he reared his head. He was naturally going to cling on to any 5 minutes of fame that he could have because he does the makeup for a member of the royal family. He's going to keep that on his CV for life. I don't think that he's going to be recruited again to do anyone else's makeup in the royal family, however. He was quoted saying openly on social media to Meghan, "Thanks for letting us play dress up again, my love. Oh, okay. Well, that pretty much sums up Meghan. That's what she's been doing. She has basically been playing in a dress-up box, pretending and playing at being a duchess, and not doing it very well. Hundreds of thousands of pounds spent on her dressing up box, however. But yeah, okay, that's it, isn't it? She came in, she pretended that she wanted to be a working member of the royal family, and she got to play dress up a lot. So thank you very much, Daniel, for pointing that out. Obviously, this did attract some negative attention because Daniel then went on to do a further post where he said that no money, taxpayers' money, went towards, you know, his service, his flights. Well, that's great. That's amazing. It's possibly the only thing that didn't probably come out of the taxpayer's purse that Charles didn't pick up the cost for. So not to be outdone by Catherine, obviously speaking with the choirs and those beautiful pictures being released. That was it, the secret meetings, pictures, unseen footage, unseen this started coming out, didn't it? First up, we had pictures of Meghan, who was meeting with scholars from the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. I'm presuming this was done before the service. So she was there seen chatting to the scholars, you know, going round and just basically, you know, another brand new dress. And I found it a bit pointless, really, because all it was a photo opportunity for Chris Allerton. Of course, these are, you know, her personal photographer. Took some pictures of Meghan doing her nodding and paying attention. You know, she does that serious face when she's really interested in what someone's saying. And then we had a cutesy little video montage of none other than Meghan released on the Sussex Royal Instagram. So it's basically just, you know, a video about Meghan, talking probably about Meghan. Then we had more photos released, and it was Harry and Meghan this time meeting with young world leaders from the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. I don't know, because Harry had looked so miserable the night before, obviously leaving the music festival, that Harry had read how miserable he looked then, how miserable he looked at the Commonwealth service, and then he kind of flipped the coin completely, didn't he? Now he looked like a giggling toddler sitting on the sofa next to his mother, really. He is absolutely giggling so much that he looks totally unprofessional. He's throwing himself back in a fit of giggles. To be honest with you, it's actually nice to see him laughing rather than scowling. And Meghan, ever the professional, not to break away her stare from the camera, even for that one moment. What a pro. So again, these pictures have been released to what end, really? Apart from, I think it's just the Sussexes saying, we're still important, we're still members of the royal family, we're still the Commonwealth President and Vice President of the Queen's Trust, we're still going to hang on to this awful institution that we have done nothing but say that it was toxic, soul-crushing. It's been destroying Harry for years. She gave him the strength to leave it. They had to take Archie away from such a terrible situation. It was racist, it was sexist, it was just the worst environment that Meghan was barely surviving. Yet here they are, hanging on to every bit that they can do to associate themselves with the royal family right till the very last minute. And the thing is, that's all they've got. Now that the Queen has said that they can't use royal, I don't think the offers are coming in as thick and fast as Meghan and Harry had expected. After the JP Morgan speech got trashed in the newspapers, I don't think, oh yeah, and the Disney exec saying basically Meghan needs us more than we need her. I don't think they're going to be getting the mass kind of attention and bucket loads of money that they initially set out or thought that they could get without trading in on the royal name. Because that is basically what this has always been about. They wanted to make money by trading in on being royals. The Queen has said no, they've stopped it. Now, obviously, we've had the huge temper tantrums, we've had everything else, but they're not marketable. They're not even a likeable couple anymore. Harry was a couple of years ago. Gosh, he really was. Everyone liked Harry. Now they just come across as a couple of, well, possibly the most famous, embarrassing, hypocritical couple there is out there that I can think of, really. They've shown themselves to be completely ungrateful for basically everything that's been given to them. They seem ungrateful to all of the money that's been given to them by taxpayers. They seem such an ungrateful pair. The way that Harry's openly dissed his brother. We had the hoax phone call and Harry had said what he'd felt about his brother there making swipes. Meghan, the way she's, obviously everything that's gone on with her family. They've shown themselves to actually be not that nice a couple. And of course, we're being fed stories that they had, they threw a lunch, a tearful farewell lunch. Meghan cried saying goodbye to her faithful staff. Well, we all know that Meghan can cry on command. If you don't believe me, let's hear it from the horse's mouth.
Now make yourself cry.
Yeah. Oh, I can do that so well. Oh my god, it's crazy. You're like, Meghan, 1 tear, left eye, go. Give me 3 seconds.
They had the highest staff turnover than any other member of the royal family. People quit left, right and centre. Anyone that was working with Meghan basically quit. So forgive me if I'm probably being a bit judgy here, but I don't think she's that nice a boss. So of course with them now leaving, Meghan's reportedly back in Canada. Harry has now followed. I don't know why they didn't leave together. That also raises a few questions because you know damn well that would have been 2 separate private planes for the eco warriors. But this is where I say stop. Her PR company have gone into overdrive. The media, oh my God, just so many stories coming out about them and it's non-stop. We got Meghan trashing the royal family again by saying that the final tour just confirmed for Meghan that she's made the right decision. Her and Harry were right to be leaving. Then we have reports that Meghan actually left Archie at home and behind in Canada due to risk of the coronavirus. Okay, well that'd be a valid point if Meghan hadn't spent all of her time hugging people despite it being clearly stated in the church services no one was to shake hands due to passing contact with the coronavirus. But Meghan thinks hugging's okay. Then we had stories and swipes coming out about how she thinks that the royal family are uptight because they don't hug people. Sorry, I have to say this. It is not normal to hug strangers so intimately. It is not normal to hug strangers. It is not normal to hug people in business meetings. It is not normal, and that's not just for the UK, us being all kind of like stiff and moody. I think this generally is the consensus all around the world. Not many people will just hug strangers, especially when there is a risk at the moment of contracting coronavirus. So she was that concerned about Archie, but not that concerned about other people's welfare. So I don't quite believe that's why Archie got left behind. Next up, we had an article from Bazaar by Meghan's favourite royal reporter, self-styled Omid Scobie. Omid spoke about Meghan's emotional final engagement, how a golden era was over. I'm sorry, a golden era. 20 months of drama, 82 engagements, millions spent on holidays, homes, clothes, weddings, jewellery. The only people that should be emotional in this scenario is going to be like the royal family accountants going, whew, that was getting a bit tight there. Then we've had a few nastier stories coming out, again making swipes at Catherine. Meghan reportedly slams Kate for being uptight. Well, if Catherine was uptight around Meghan, I'm not surprised. She was initially welcoming to Meghan, but as soon as Meghan obviously came on the scene, this is when nasty stories started coming out about Catherine being a mean girl, Catherine's children being feral and running around, and Meghan didn't want to mix with them. Catherine having to, you know, basically reel Meghan in from screaming at her staff. I think if there was one person that was uptight and up their own woohoo, I think we all know that's going to be Meghan and not Catherine. Spiteful nastiness, and we know who's instigated it all. Another story comes out about how no one in the royal family stood up for them when they were needed. They've literally just been hung out to dry. It's like blah, 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 blah. Victim, 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 bully, bully, bully. Oh, they've had such a terrible time. Everyone was so awful to you. We get it. You've sold that story. You've definitely plugged it more than enough. I'm in no doubt that one day it's going to be Meghan speaking the same way about Harry. I'm in no doubt that one day Meghan will be selling the same sort of stories and it'll be the same sort of magazines picking up Harry bullied Meghan. She had to take Archie away from Harry because he was so unstable. Maybe this is why she winds him up so much in public. You know, we've seen actual pictures of her. You know, she's smiling and Harry's looking at her and getting more and more uptight and angry. And, you know, is she feeding him stuff to get him, you know, really peed off in public? Because she, as I said, the professional grin, she just smiles all the way through it. Whereas Harry, who's not so good at not showing his emotions in public clearly, you know, he looks angry. Is this what she's going to end up doing and saying, you know, that Harry was unkind to her? Harry didn't support her. Harry suffocated her. I wouldn't hold my breath on this one because I think we will see this in future and probably worse. We all knew that there were still going to be stories coming out about Harry and Meghan, even when they went to Canada or Malibu or wherever it is that they're going to set up shop. But straight away, bearing in mind Meghan was worried about the coronavirus and Archie, there's a story that comes out that Meghan is going for 2-hour walks with Archie and she's so kind to all of her neighbours. Shame she wasn't that kind to all of her neighbours when they lived at Frogmore. Do you remember the rules that came out, the rules of engagement if they saw the royal couple walking around Windsor? I'll just put a little reminder here and you can read through these, you know, don't touch our dogs, don't ask our dogs' names, no, you cannot babysit Archie, blah, blah, blah. You can only instigate if we talk to you first. Oh, of course it wasn't confirmed and it was denied that it was Harry and Meghan that had actually said this, but it was a member of staff who had been instructed to put these instructions out there. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it came from Harry and Meghan initially. So with all of this onslaught from Harry and Meghan's PR team and the media pushing all these stories, these fluffy ones, these horrible ones about the royal family and Catherine and stuff, I really want the media to start reporting on positive stories. You've got Sophie now that's stepping up into a more senior role. I want more coverage of when Edward and Sophie do go abroad, because the royal reporters have said they haven't had the money and the finances to cover people like Sophie while Harry and Meghan were on the scene. So now, well, don't go to Canada and cover them, cover our real royals. Start putting some positive stories out there, because the calls for a republic have never been louder than what they have been since Meghan and Harry have come on the scene. Who knows what games the Queen and Charles are playing, whether they are genuinely behind the scenes trying to sort this situation out, but, you know, never complain, never explain. But to the public, it's beginning to look like that they're just taking Harry and Meghan's side. So obviously it's really, really putting the public's nose out the joint. The royal family will only continue with the public's support. So it's about time that the UK media, especially the fact that half of them are being sued by Harry and Meghan, started putting out positive stories, reminding us the good things that our royal family members do. Sadly, however, it doesn't look like we're going to get any decent stories anytime soon because the coronavirus risk. All of the royals have basically cancelled their engagements. Sophie, unfortunately, has fallen unwell after the service, the Commonwealth service. So hopefully Sophie will make a very quick and speedy recovery, and Prince Philip is actually in a plastic bubble. All joking aside, the coronavirus is actually getting quite serious. There is a lot of scaremongering going on. People are becoming frightened. My husband's grandparents are worried about, you know, if we do a lockdown, how are they going to get food? How are they going to get shopping? They've both had pneumonia themselves. So my husband and I are going to do some shopping for them every so often and leave it outside their front door for them. They're talking about shutting down schools and everything. And that's okay, well and good if someone's there at home to look after the children. But the problem you then have with that, some people don't have grandparents or friends or neighbours that can look after their children. Some people's companies do not pay sick pay. So you're expecting people to stay home, look after their children. And you know, I couldn't deal with 2 weeks of no money coming in. Not many of us can. So it is a very, very tense and scary time. Not being helped by the selfish people out there that are doing the panic buying. We as a human race have always helped each other in dark times. We need that kind of blitz spirit. People are frightened, and there are people that don't have a lot of money, that are single, that are elderly, that they just want a 4-pack of toilet roll. And if you've got in your basket, you know, your trolley, you've got 2 trolleys worth 100 packs of toilet roll, please be more considerate. Please think that if you get flu, okay, you're going to be confined for a couple of weeks. Please don't take all the children's medicine. My sister-in-law, their baby's been sick, and they unfortunately haven't been able to get hold of Calpol. People can't get hold of basics like paracetamol, pasta, rice. You do not need hundreds of packs of stuff for yourself. Please bear in mind there are lots of people out there that they can only manage to do a weekly shop when they get their small pension. So if you do have elderly neighbours, friends and family, please try and be considerate. See if you can help anyone. We don't know how bad this coronavirus is going to get and who it's going to affect and how deadly it can actually be. Don't be too casual about how serious this is, but please don't panic. We will get through this, but we have to remember, as a human race, show your humanity. Let's stick together. So that's it for me on this video. I will be back. You might like my next video. I have done a video dedicated to Princess Anne, so that will be released in the coming days. So I'll be back with you guys really soon, and I hope you all stay healthy.
If you like my video, please remember to like and subscribe. Please, angry typists, you will be blocked, so save your fingers the time. If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love, Taz.